Meteorologist Kim Castro. We have a brand new update from the National Hurricane Center now putting the upper Texas coastline under a tropical storm watch. So that includes Freeport, Jamaica Beach, Galveston to Winnie. Notice this threat extends all the way into Louisiana, and that's where we could see a tropical storm develop here over the next 36 to 48 hours. Again, the areas highlighted are along the immediate coastline. I will break down what a tropical storm watch means here in a second, but I want to show you another brand new update from the Hurricane Center. We've been upgraded from Invest 90L to potential tropical cyclone 1. What this means is we are just shy from getting a designation, and the Hurricane Center is projecting this to happen over the next day or two. You'll notice this cone that they've put encompasses Corpus Christi, Freeport into Galveston, and then curving out towards Louisiana. So if we were to get a named storm, it would happen somewhere between Galveston to Chambers County and then moving quickly into land. So the timing for this is looking like this. By this evening, 35-mile-an-hour wind speeds. This is still just shy of a tropical storm. Once it pushes towards 40-mile-an-hour wind speeds, this is projected to happen by early tomorrow morning, right around 7 o'clock. That's when it would push up into a tropical storm and gain that designation. It continues then to churn along the upper Texas coastline throughout the entire day. So our highest risk day is going to be tomorrow, regardless of if we get the designation or not. We're expecting to see a lot of that tropical moisture push along the upper Texas coastline throughout tomorrow morning, afternoon, and evening. As we head into Thursday, that's when it starts pushing towards Louisiana and making its trek a little bit further inland. We're still at a 60% chance for getting this designation. This is going to evolve throughout the day. So the National Hurricane Center is sending hurricane hunters into the center of this low pressure system to gather data, including any pressure drops, any increased wind speeds, and any defined center of circulation. If they do gain evidence of that with this tropical satellite that I'm showing you, that's when they would upgrade us from the PTC1 into the first named storm of the Atlantic hurricane season. So right now it is very disorganized moisture. You'll notice it is a big swath of it extending from the upper coastline of Mexico into Brownsville, Corpus, and of course southeast Texas. So most of the activity right now is along the coastline. The first named storm is Arthur. Again, we are watching to see if this happens throughout the next 36 to 48 hours. So because of that, the National Hurricane Center has put us under a tropical storm watch. Once again, which areas are included in that? So this is a portion of Brazoria, Galveston, and Chambers County. This includes Freeport, Jamaica Beach, Galveston, Winnie, Anahuac. Those are some of the areas they're expecting to see the majority of the impacts with this tropical moisture that could potentially become a tropical storm. So let me break down what a tropical storm watch means versus what a warning means. So we might get upgraded into a warning here as that system gets a little bit closer to us. So I want you to know the difference. Watch means we could see possible impacts over the next 48 hours. I think in our scenario, because it's so close, I think possible impacts could start as quickly as the next 18 to 24 hours. What would those impacts be? With a tropical storm, it would mean winds at 39 to 73 miles an hour. Coastal flooding a possibility, storm surge a possibility. And I'm going to be watching the potential for inland flooding as well, because there's going to be a lot of moisture surging in the area and we still have that stalled front. This is going to potentially bring us impacts even closer towards the city center, but the immediate coastline is the area that's going to get hit with a number of other potential impacts, like the increased wind speeds, like the potential of the increased wave height. So that's why that area has been flagged in particular for a little bit extra caution. Here's a live look at radar right now. So you'll notice right now pretty light activity along the coastline. We are tracking a couple of heavier downpours. Just north of Houston, so northern Harris County into Montgomery, the Spring area, where you see those boxes in green. Those are the areas that have either a flood advisory or a flash flood warning. Oak Ridge North, the Woodlands, Tomball. Those are the spots that have been getting repeated rounds of rain, what we like to call training thunderstorms, storms that redevelop in the same area, bringing torrential downpours and the potential of quick high water to localized street flooding. The flash flooding for this area is extended until 1:30 in the afternoon. However, if the rain there doesn't lift, it could potentially get pushed a little bit later on into this afternoon. How much rain have we already seen between today and yesterday? A really substantial amount. You'll notice for northern Harris County into Montgomery, so the Spring area, closer to the airport, Humble area, 7 inches of rainfall just in the last 48 hours, 6.5 near Spring, and then pushing up closer towards the North Freeway, Conroe to Huntsville, 8 inches of rainfall. And of course, more of that is on the way as we continue to see that batch of tropical moisture pushing closer and closer towards southeast Texas. In addition to the flash flood warning, like I said, there's a flood advisory. So if you're in Cleveland, the Woodlands, Tomball, you're going to be monitored until 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And then Conroe, Pinehurst with the flash flooding, that's going to be an area to monitor until 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So a number of different spots along 292, so just past Cypress towards Hempstead. That's another area that's still getting hit with some heavy rain. So for today, our flood risk is very elevated. So you'll notice the area shaded in red. That's a level 3 on the 1 to 4 scale. Moderate doesn't sound like it's a big deal. However, you'll notice that's on the higher end potential for flooding here in Houston. For Fort Bend, this is going to extend into Wharton, Matagorda, Brazoria, Galveston, Chambers, and Liberty. So a really big chunk of the area is under that elevated 3 on the 1 to 4 scale threat. Then it diminishes the further north that you go. So for Montgomery into Walker County, San Jacinto, Polk, those areas are under a threat level 2. And then further northwest rather, so towards Grimes, Bryan College Station, Washington, those areas have a marginal risk. That is a 1 on the 1 to 4 scale. How about for our Wednesday? That's when most of the activity is expected to take shape. That's when the National Hurricane Center, like I said, is tracking the potential of our first named storm of the season, Arthur, making its landfall. Now, where is this most likely to happen? We're thinking somewhere along Chambers County into Louisiana. So for now, the models are thinking that this is going to skirt just past Galveston and push a little bit further east, closer to the Bolivar Peninsula, and then moving into Louisiana. Our threat level on Wednesday is much the same in terms of flooding. So we're under a threat level 3 for most of the area. This includes Harris County, Fort Bend, the eastern portion of Matagorda, Brazoria, Galveston, Chambers, and Liberty counties, and then the further north and west that you go, the threat starts to drop off a little bit there. So because of this, we are under weather impact alerts. So that is for today, tomorrow, into Thursday. Our risk for torrential downpours that could lead to localized flash flooding is pretty elevated. So 80% potential for today. For tomorrow, I think by Thursday we'll start to see things quiet down just a bit. So we may be able to scale back on the rain potential on Thursday. However, for now, we'll just keep these 3 days on high alert. I will be watching those updates with the National Hurricane Center throughout the day to make sure we've got the latest guidance from them. But for now, we do need to prepare for some heavy rain and along the immediate coastline. Like I said, those areas that are now flagged for tropical storm watch need to look out for the potential of elevated high water with some coastal flooding as the predominant concern there. All right, we've got our newscast coming up here at 12 o'clock. So we'll see you on the TV side for another update. We'll have hourly updates throughout the day as well.